The Opinionated Idiot. The Opinionated Idiot live show.
I got everybody. I got y'all. I got y'all. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Opinionated Idiot live show. We're here a little earlier. It's Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. I cannot believe that we are almost halfway through this year already. Maybe it's because we don't have the big C rolling around anymore. Maybe I don't know. It's just weird. Everybody was supposedly getting it. Everybody had it, and now it's just completely gone. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But time is absolutely going by fast. I'm going to welcome everybody in early on this Tuesday evening. I know it's not 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I want to get an early show in this evening. I have a bunch to go through. I'm doing a lot of preparation for Saturday's show. You're not going to want to miss Saturday's show. Saturday night live here on the Opinionated Idiot YouTube channel. There is going to be a wow moment on that show. I'm going to tell you. So you're going to want to be here. That show is going to be a little bit later as well. We're going to start that one at 9 o'clock. So let me get a little housekeeping out of the way, and then I'll recognize this new member. My personal life has changed a little bit in relationship to my job. My employer, or the place that I work at, we recently just lost a lot of people, and that is putting a lot of burden on me to pick up that work. I'm going to be going into a very strenuous personal schedule for a little while until I get things ironed out. So I'll be working like 12-hour days, maybe 7 days a week, until we can get this problem resolved or get some people hired. So I'm going to continue to try to stream as much as I can. I don't think that it's going to be 8:30 streams. They may be a little bit later. And then I have to balance my personal life and my career as well. So I am not giving up. I'm going to continue to keep this channel moving. This is a passion of mine. It's a dream of mine to keep this going. So I will not give up. So I will find that healthy balance between all of those elements in my life, because I want to keep doing this. I want to keep bringing content to this channel and to my members and audience, subscribers here. So bear with me a little bit. The stream times are going to get a little bit wanky. I'll make sure that I do, enough preparation ahead of time and give you guys enough notice. So that'll be in the private Discord chat. If you're not a Discord member, you can get into the Discord, go down and hit the join button, subscribe. $1.99 a month will get you into the Discord group. When you get into the Discord group, just change your Discord name to your YouTube screen name. And what I'll do is after the show, I'm trying to make it that I post on my community tab, on YouTube community tab, the Discord link so you can get in, and it's for paid members only. It's for members only. You can join down below. $2 a month will get you in there. So I wanted to get kind of that housekeeping out of the way. So please just bear with the channel for a little while. My life's going to get a little bit crazy. It's going to get a little stressful, but I am not giving up. I'm not giving up on this channel. I'm going to make time to do streams. They're going to probably be at night. I might pop and do some midday streams when I have some time, but just bear with me. And I will try to give everybody enough notice as I can. Facebook as well. I do notifications on there, and you can follow me on Twitter. All those links are posted in my comments below, after the stream post. So let's do this. Let's get into the show. We're going to talk about Anna Walshe and Brian Walshe this evening. Let me go back up to the top of the chat like we always do. Whoa, guess who's here? First one in. Victorine's here, says, hey, excited for another live show. Good to see you. Kay says, idiot audience time. Let us know where you're here and where you're from. Love that. The gnome is home. The gnome is home. Tsunami, one of my channel moderators, a new moderator. So thank you so much. Pamela's here as well. Good to see you. Firefly is here as well. Thank you. Laura in the house. Laura and I are going to put on a very good show for you guys on Saturday night. It's back to Idaho on Saturday. Idaho on Saturday. Idaho Saturdays. Saturday Night Live. We got a presentation for you guys and a new theory as to what could happen at and in King Road the evening of the murders. I don't like to say that word, but it is what it is. That's what's happened, and we have a new theory, and I think it's gonna chill some people to the bone because I think we figured some things out. So AZ is here as well. Jessica's here. Dr. Bob in the house. Good to see you. Let's see. BBN Tuners here, says, hey all. Giovanna's here as well. And we're going to recognize BBN as a new member, like we say here in the Boston area, a new member. New member. Thank you for your membership. MJC. Oh man, I got the loop on. I got the poop loop on. I got the poop loop on. Let's see. Should I forget? Chosen Rosen's here. Good to see you. Brooke is here. All right. Devil Doll is here. A member. Yeah, we got a new member. All right, let's get into it. Oh, we got one more before I get into it. We got Vanderhoof here as well. Good to see you. Got all the members in the house. The chat will grow as the stream goes on. All right, so what we got tonight, we have fake paintings, we have affairs, we have hacksaws, we have mysterious ransom notes, all this crazy shit that's going down here in Cohasset, Massachusetts, and we're going to get into it. We are going to get into it. Hang on one second. I'm just checking something really quick. Let's see if the YouTube censors got me. Did they get me? If they get me early, I usually... Yep, I knew they would. I got a request for this for review. Hopefully they'll manually review it during the show. And by the time it posts, I can get paid. All right, let's get into this. So what we're going to talk about tonight is Anna Walshe, the Beauty and the Beast. This is Anna Walshe. If you're not familiar, it's her Instagram account here. I'm going to tell you, I was reading through a lot of the comments on her Instagram today, and people are giving her a lot of shit. But Anna is missing, and they have found a lot of evidence at the Walshe home that Brian Walshe, her estranged husband, or terrible, her husband that she's in a terrible relationship with, is the alleged killer. So let's get into some articles, like we like to say here in the Massachusetts area, some articles. Let's bring this up. So if you haven't heard, let's get you familiar with this. This happened in Cohasset, Massachusetts, quite a few months ago, and now Brian Walshe has been arrested in connection with the homicide of his now deceased wife, Anna Walshe. And apparently, what led to this was she had went missing. He had lied about the last time that he had saw her. The police came in and did an investigation. And yeah, truly stunning woman. She's a gorgeous woman. Um, so he had lied about a lot of lying, and they had found a bloody knife in the home. There's some rumors about a hacksaw blade that they had found with some of her DNA on it, but we're going to get into all this. So the timeline of the missing Massachusetts mother, Anna Walshe, and her husband, Brian Walshe. So this give you a good background. I'm going to pull up some articles and do some videos as well. Let's read through this, guys and ladies. Anna Walshe, a Massachusetts mother of 3, has not been seen since at least the new year, and investigators have searched areas north and south Boston to uncover her whereabouts and status, CNN reported. And I do remember watching, like, live on TV, actually people in hazmat suits searching the town or city dump to see if they could come up with any type of human remains. Her husband, Brian Walshe, 47, told police he last saw her on January 1st when she left their home in Cohasset for a flight in Washington, D.C. for her job. And Anna is a real estate. She's in real estate sales, very high-end real estate sales, and did a lot of her work out of Washington, D.C. But authorities have accused him of misleading investigators, and they said they found a bloody knife in the basement of their home. Excuse me, indigestion. That Chick-fil-A is a knocking right now, boy. That Chick-fil-A is knocking. Using information from the criminal affidavit, police and prosecutors and defense attorneys, CNN put together a timeline of the couple's movements and actions from their earlier legal troubles to her recent appearance. Now, Brian Walshe, if you're not familiar with this, was caught quite a few years ago selling fake Andy Warhol paintings, and actually was indicted in that. Let's go here. 2018, Brian Walshe's father, Dr. Thomas Walshe, died in September 2018 and left nothing to Brian, leading to protract legal fight over his estate, according to court documents filed in Plymouth Probate and Family Court in Massachusetts. Dr. Walshe would be noted that he was not in contact with Brian, to whom he I'm not going to get this one out, bequeathed only his best wishes and nothing else from his estate, according to the photographs of the documents attached to the court documents. Brian Walshe unsuccessfully contested and will suggest his father's signature on the document was a possible forgery. I'm just going to say this. I'm sorry. I suffer from a little bit of dyslexia. I have a little bit of a stutter as well, too, when I read. So, if I get some shit on the comments after, just wanted to point that out. I try to do my best to read through these articles. What they find, my brain reads very far ahead, but doesn't process the information. So it's soaking in very fast. But by the time I speak it out, I'm behind. I don't know if anybody struggles with that, but my brain reads it very fast, and then I struggle from behind. So I try to do the best I can here to read as much as I can. And if some of you have ever typed with me, you'll notice that in my typing as well, too. My brain is so much far ahead, but I spell common words wrong, and I reverse letters and stuff like that a lot too. So I do apologize. Affidavits in the opposition to Brian Walshe's petition argued that he had been estranged from his father and detailed years of alleged swindling and manipulation. He had several fallings out with his son, wrote Andrew Walshe, the estate executor and one of Dr. Walshe's nephews. Brian had ran off with a significant amount of money and had almost zero contact with Brian R. Walshe over the last 10 years plus. In October 2018, Brian Walshe was indicted on federal fraud charges and allegedly selling a fake Andy Warhol art online, according to court documents. The FBI investigators alleged Brian or Ann Walshe used their eBay account to sell paintings in November 2016, less than a year after they were married. The complaint does not charge Ann Walshe with the wrongdoing, but states that she spoke to a person who purchased the fakes after the buyer learned the paintings were not authentic and located her work number. The documents who alleged Brian Walshe took real artwork from a friend to sell, but never did. He did not compensate the friend for the art earlier alleged. Oh, thank you, Firefly. I appreciate that. I try to do my best. I try to do my best. Walsh pled not guilty to wire fraud, interstate transportation of a scheme to defraud, possessions of converted goods, and unlawful monetary transactions in 2018, in November 2018. So now we're going to skip ahead to 2021. In April 2021, Brian Walshe pled guilty to 3 of the 4 counts in exchange for a recommended sentence of incarceration, supervised release, fines, restitution, and forfeiture. Court's documents show. He also agreed to either return the artwork or pay for them. As part of the pre-sentencing probation, Brian Walshe was placed on monitoring and house arrest. He can request to leave home, but he must detail the specific locations, times, and reasons. Thank you. I appreciate that love. I appreciate that love. Thank you. So now we're going to fast forward to December 31st, 2022. According to Brian Walsh's statements, the police included in the affidavit, he and his wife hosted a New Year's Eve dinner at their home with a friend named Jem. Brian and Anna Walshe went to bed shortly after the friends left 1 or 1:30 a.m. He told investigators, the affidavit states, Anna Walshe said she had a work emergency and needed to fly to Washington for her job the next morning, he told police. Let me just pull this up real quick. I appreciate all the love. You guys and ladies are amazing. Thank you. Pop seems to hear you. I have the same struggle. Please do not apologize. You should listen to yourself reading. You might be surprised how you sound. I wonder, I would never have guessed. Yeah, I don't think that we, like, as ourselves, we process it, but I think I catch myself sometimes. But once I usually calm down and get into the article, my brain slows down. So, now you can actually hear me. I'm a little bit probably flowing a little bit better. So now we're going to go to January 1st, 2023. As Brian Walshe told police in the morning, Anna Walshe got ready and kissed him goodbye and told him to go back to sleep, the affidavit states. She usually took an Uber, Lyft, or taxi to the airport and left between 6 and 7 a.m., the affidavit states. He further told police a babysitter arrived in the afternoon and he had left home to get groceries at about 3 p.m., the affidavit states. He told police that then he went to see his mother about 4 in Swampscott, about an hour drive from Cohasset, but did not have his cell phone and got lost, making a trip longer than usual, the affidavit states. Yeah. Isn't that kind of funny? That I just want to read this sentence and maybe we can relate this to some things that are going on in the Idaho, the Brian Koberger case. So let's go back to that sentence. He told police he then went to see his mother at 4 p.m. in Swampscott, about an hour drive from Cohasset, but he did not have a cell phone and he got lost, making the trip longer than usual, the affidavit states. A little weird how the alleged suspect took a very long time to drive home that night, which normally would be a 15-minute drive. Oh, look at this. He said he left his mother's house within about 15 minutes and arrived to run errands for her at Whole Foods and CVS, and eventually returned home to Cohasset at about 8 p.m., according to the affidavit. So now we're going to go to the next day. Anna Walsh's cell phone pinged in the area of Cohasset home on January 1st and the 2nd, according to prosecutor Lynn Beedlin. As Walshe told investigators, he took one of his children for ice cream at the juice bar in Norwell in January 2nd, while babysitting watched their 2 kids. The affidavit states. I have to say this too. A lot of the areas that we're talking about, Cohasset, Norwell, Swampscott, those are all very affluent neighborhoods, very, upper middle class, what we would call in Massachusetts, like well-to-do towns. Investigator confirmed this trip occurred, the affidavit states. According to the surveillance video, Brian Walshe traveled to Home Depot in Rockland, where a surgical mask and gloves, and made a cash purchase, the affidavit states. There, Walshe bought $450 of cleaning supplies, including mop buckets, tarps, and various types of tape, according to Beelan. Gee, that doesn't sound or look suspicious. Rockland is where the home of where Aerosmith is. Steven Tyler. Anna Walshe workplace was a real estate company, Tishman Speiler, called police to report that she did not show up for a job, Beeland said. According to Brian Walshe's defense attorney, he called her workplace to ask if they knew where her whereabouts were prior to the workplace calls. Cohasset police arrived at Anna Walshe's home for a well-being check, a wellness check, according to the affidavit. Brian Walshe spoke to an investigator multiple times to provide the above timeline for his actions and whereabouts on January 1st and 2nd. Yeah, cleaning supplies. Yeah, $450 worth of complete cleaning supplies. I don't think that he's just mopping the garage. Cohasset police announced, or redecorating, Cohasset on January 5th, Cohasset police announced Anna Walshe is missing and asked the public to come forth with any information. Police said that she had been seen shortly after midnight on New Year's Day. On the 6th, police launched a massive search for Anna Walshe that included canine officers and search and rescue teams in the wooded areas near her home. On the 7th, at least 6 investigators were tasked to driving to the North Shore area of Massachusetts, watching surveillance video to try to verify Walsh's timeline of the events, the affidavit states. They were not observed. They did not observe him on video at the Whole Foods or CVS in Swampscott on January 1st, as he stated the affidavit. I mean, as you can see here, this is all starting to fall apart for Mr. Walshe. Not really looking good right now. On the 8th, Walshe was arrested and charged with misleading police in the investigation. Police said in a statement, good move by the police there. Because who knows, maybe this guy fucking takes off. So thank God they have him in custody. On the 9th, Walshe was arraigned in court and pled not guilty to the charges of misleading police. Beeland, the prosecutor, said investigators had found no evidence of Anna Walshe's taking a ride share from the home on January 1st. She had statements to police because a delay in the investigation. The prosecutor also said evidence obtained in the search warrant for the home found blood and a bloody knife in the basement. The judge set the bail at $500,000 in cash and set the next hearing for February 9th. Prosecutors released the affidavit in support of criminal complaint that lays out authorities' timeline the prior week. The affidavit describes Brian Walshe's statement to police as to clear up the attempt to mislead, delay investigators. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. On the 17th, an arrest warrant was charged. Actually, you know what? There might be some court. Let's see. Investigators conducted search of the north of Boston and collected a number of items that were processed in test. According to the statement of the Norfolk District County attorney, the statement also referred to Anna Walshe's disappearance as suspicious. According to the source, with direct knowledge of the investigation, the investigator put the crime scene tape around dumpsters near the home of Walshe, mother in Swampscott, and dug out the trash transferred in Blvd. Both locations were north of Boston. Law enforcement sources told CNN investigators they found a hacksaw, torn up cloth material, and what appears to be a blood stain at the Blvd site. Evidence was sent for testing. Yeah, this is not looking too good for Walshe, and deservingly so, because this guy, I think, is going to go down hard. January 17th, an arrest warrant was charged Brian Walshe with the murder, was issued in the death of his wife, Anna Walshe. Norfolk District County, Michael Morrissey announced he had been held at Norfolk County House of Corrections, which is an incredibly tough prison. Norfolk County is not a joke around prison. Very rough in there. And was transported to Quincy District Court to be arraigned on murder charges on Wednesday, Morrissey added. Additional details in the investigation and the evidence in support of those charges are likely to be present and arraigned, but will not be disclosed at this time, the prosecutor said. So I want to give you a little bit of some background there, in this case, get you kind of caught up to speed. I have some videos that we're going to play through here. I got, let's see, I have a CBS Boston from 3 months ago. It's about a 25-minute video. Let's go through that. But what I first want to do is just pull up some quick articles here about some of the some of the details that have now come out in this investigation since this last article was reported. So there has been a report that mass mom Anna Walshe had months-long affair with man in Washington, D.C. before she vanished, court documents. This was on May 3rd. I'm not going to read too much of this, but authorities believe that Anna Walshe had plans to leave her husband, according to court documents obtained by People. Authorities believe Massachusetts mom Anna Walshe was having a months-long intimate affair with a man in Washington, D.C., and had plans to leave her husband, Brian Walshe, before she went missing. According to newly released court documents obtained by People, Anna was said to be dating a man in the months leading up to her disappearance while still being married to her husband, who's now accused of murdering her. Now, look, I'm not here to judge anybody's, adulteries or problems in their marriages. That's all for them to figure out. The bottom line here is that someone was killed, an innocent woman, as far as not being murdered. Things can be handled a lot differently. If you're cheating on your spouse, you don't deserve to be murdered. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across here in this case. All their marriage problems are their problems. All their affairs are their problems. They need to, work that out. So, unfortunately, she didn't have the opportunity to do that. In the unsealed documents, Anna's alleged romantic partner told investigators the pair saw each other frequently during her time spent working as a real estate executive in Washington, D.C., and that their relationship had become more serious. The pair spent their past Thanksgiving together in Dublin, Ireland, and also spent Christmas Eve together. They also had plans to celebrate the New Year together on January 4th, the documents stated. So I'm not going to go into too much of that, as I just want to kind of bring in some new allegations or evidence in this case, just so you knew what was going on. Now, the latest here on May 2nd, another article came up, is about this mysterious ransom note demanding $127,000 turns up in missing mom's Anna Walshe's case. She messed up. A mysterious ransom note has turned up in the investigation into Anna Walshe's disappearance, saying the Massachusetts mom would never be returned unless $127,000 was paid. Details of the letter sent to Cohasset Detective Harrison Schmidt on January 7th were revealed in a newly trove of records related to the case, the Boston Herald reported. We have the so-named Anna Walshe with us here. We had a deal worth $127,000, the note said. She messed up. We have her here with us, and if she doesn't pay the money, then she'll never go back, and we'll know. And we know that police and the FBI are involved. Good luck finding us. The detective said they received the email from Richard Walker 3 days after Anna Walshe's name was entered into the National Crime Information Database, CBS reported. Authorities said they immediately thought the missive was suspicious because it included no instructions on how or when to respond. News about the note comes after court filings revealed that Walshe spent Thanksgiving in Dublin with a mysterious lover after about a month of her husband, Brian Walshe, allegedly killed the mother of 3 on New Year's Eve. Let's see. I just want to go. Anna had told a friend days before she vanished that she thought her husband was going to prison, presumably the art fraud charges. She planned to leave him and move to Washington, D.C., court documents state. Brian was arraigned Thursday in Norfolk Superior Court, where his attorney admitted that the defendant's mother had hired a private investigator to tail Anna during a trip to D.C. because she suspected infidelity. But granted, again, this goes back to, if there's infidelity, if there's adulteries, you don't kill someone because of that. You divorce them, you leave them in any way possible, and you handle it all in court if there's money to be settled or anything like that. No one deserves to die over infidelity. As heartbreaking it is, as devastation it can be to a family, she didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve this. Maybe she wasn't the best moral person in the world, but it doesn't mean it doesn't give her husband the permission, allegedly, to take her out. It's just silly. But the attorney alleged that his client had no reason to suspect his wife was cheating until she disappeared. Prosecutors, however, argued that Brian obsessively checked the Instagram account of a DC man who he thought his wife was his wife's love interest. The husband also had a lot to gain if Anna died, such as a $2 million insurance payout, according to the prosecutors, though his attorneys argue that he was already loaded through his family. Brian, who has pled not guilty to the murder, misleading police, obstruction of justice, proper conveying of a human body, and is due back in court in August. So, that should get you a little bit caught up to speed here. I got a couple of videos here that I want to play through. And let's play this one here. This one's from CBS Boston. And this one was posted about 3 months ago on January 14, 2023. Let's play through this.
We're looking for the public's help and the media's help in locating Anna Walshe. At this point, it's a missing person investigation. We have nothing to support anything suspicious or criminal.
Right now, a desperate search for a missing wife and mother who has not been seen since New Year's Day.
Anna is very active on Instagram, and I didn't see a picture from her trip.
We love you so much. We want you here.
The husband of a missing woman from Cohasset is under arrest and due in court this morning.
He's on surveillance at that time, purchasing about $450 worth of cleaning supplies.
The couple has 3 small children between the ages of 2 and 6.
I-team sources say investigators have now discovered evidence at that Peabody trash facility.
There's absolutely no indication of a tragedy or anything else that could have happened that night.
That character flaw usually involves narcissism.
Everybody's favorite.
And believing that they can trick people into believing their narrative.
There are no winners in this story.
The Cohasset mom seemingly vanished after a New Year's Eve dinner and has not been seen or heard from since. Welcome to a WBZ I-Team special, the Anna Walshe investigation. I'm Chief Investigator Cheryl Fiandaca. Her disappearance has rocked the tiny seaside town the family called home and captured the attention of the world. What started as a missing persons case is turning into something potentially much more sinister. And at the center of the mystery is Anna's husband, Brian Walshe. This week, police charged Walshe with misleading investigators. He's being held in jail on $500,000 bail. This surveillance video of Brian is from a juice bar in Norwell. Police say he told investigators he went there on January 2nd. He also told police it was the only place that he went that day. But investigators say that was not true and uncovered video of Brian several hours later at a nearby Home Depot buying Tyvek, tarps, buckets, drop cloths, and cleaning supplies. I-Team sources say trash taken from a dumpster at Brian's mother's Swampscott condominium complex was searched by police at a Peabody transfer station. There, sources say investigators found trash bags containing a hacksaw, a hatchet, a rug, used cleaning supplies, and blood. All of it and the DNA now being tested at the state's crime lab. The I-Team also uncovered a police report Anna filed in Washington, D.C. before the couple was married. In that 2014 report, Anna claimed Brian threatened to kill her and her friends over the phone. No charges were filed because Anna refused to cooperate with police. Meantime, the Walshes' 3 young children are in the custody of the state and are facing an uncertain future. Here's how it all began. As the calendar turned from 2022 to 2023, something appeared to be happening in the Walshe home. What started with a New Year's Eve celebration turned into a desperate search for Anna. This is the timeline of what we've learned so far.
If this is your first time over on the channel and you like what you've seen here today, make sure to go down and subscribe, smash that like button. I really would appreciate it. Look, we don't do all Idaho stuff here. We do other content as well. You get the same content. You get the same performance in our Idaho content. Like, I get it. Idaho, Brian Koberger is the hot topic on YouTube. But we got other material we do here. We bring cases to light that need to be brought to light. So, once this Idaho stuff concludes, I'm not saying like stuff, but once this case concludes, look, we got other material to do here. We have other material. You guys are missing out on awesome shows. I'm telling you. Missing out on awesome
December
material.
31st, New Year's Eve. Brian Walshe and his wife Anna had dinner with their friend Jem Mutlu.
There was no indication of anything other than celebrating the new year.
After that celebration dinner,
I agree.
Walshe allegedly told police.
Oh,
that
and by the way, on Thursday night, I'm going to be doing a part 2 to Scumbag out in Oklahoma. There's new details that have come out, and we need to talk more about that. So don't forget to come over on Thursday. That show will be 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my regular time. So you're not going to want to miss that as well. All right, let's keep playing through this.
Anna, who worked as a property manager in D.C., had a work emergency. She went to bed around 1 a.m. and planned to fly to D.C. the next morning. Friends say their Happy New Year messages were never returned. January 1st, 2023, New Year's Day. Walshe allegedly tells police he last saw his wife between 4 and 6 a.m., claiming Anna left the house in an Uber or Lyft to the airport. But police say Anna did not get a rideshare and did not board a flight to D.C. 7 a.m., police say Walshe got up to make breakfast for the couple's 3 boys. At the same time, a babysitter arrived at the Cohasset home. Walshe tells police he went to run errands and headed to CVS and Whole Foods for his mother. But prosecutors say there are no receipts or surveillance video showing Walshe at either store. January 2nd, 2023. Prosecutors say sometime after 4 p.m., Walshe, wearing a black mask and surgical gloves, is seen on surveillance video at Home Depot in Rockland.
He's on surveillance at that time.
Gee, we kind of know someone that was allegedly wearing gloves after a murder and a mask. Yeah.
Purchasing about $450 worth of cleaning supplies. That would include mops, bucket, tops,
mops,
T-Vex, drop cloths, as well as various kinds of tape.
At the same time, Anna's cell phone pinged in the area of the Cohasset home, January 4th, 2023. Washington, D.C. co-workers notified police that Anna did not show up for work.
We received simultaneous reports from her employer in Washington, D.C., as well as her husband.
Walsh's lawyer says he also called friends looking for her.
Good afternoon. It's Brian Walshe. I hope all is going well.
Too many fucking Brians.
Just reaching out to basically everybody.
Too many fucking Brians. Like, I'm Brian. This is Brian. We got a Brian Koberger in fucking Idaho. What is with these Brians? I promise I'm not like any of these Brians. Holy shit. Too many fucking Brians. Close to
Anna
home.
hasn't been in touch for a few days. Do you know anyone that might have had contact with her? Calling everyone. So sorry to bother you. Sure, everything's fine.
January 6th, 2023. Police drained the pool in the backyard and searched the woods near the Walsh's home. Later, a fire breaks out at a home on Jerusalem Road, a house formerly owned by Anna Walshe. The cause is determined to be accidental, and fire officials call the blaze a strange coincidence.
Yeah, that's suspicious.
January 8th, 2023. Police arrest Brian Walshe, charging him with misleading investigators. Police armed with a search warrant search the home.
Blood was found in the basement area, as well as a knife, which also contains some blood.
January 9th, 2023. Walshe appears in court and pleads not guilty to misleading the investigation. His attorney says he's cooperating with police.
Mr. Walshe has given several interviews.
Yeah, right.
We have consented to searches of his home.
Too many
we
fucking
have
Brians.
To searches of his property. We had consented to searches of his cell phone.
Hours later, I-Team sources say investigators searching through trash taken to a transfer facility in Peabody from a dumpster at Walsh's mother's Swampscott condominium find garbage bags with a hatchet, a hacksaw, used cleaning equipment, and blood.
Terrifying.
Those disturbing details stunned a close family friend. Jem Mutlu says he had dinner with the couple the night before Anna's disappearance. And a WBZ exclusive, Anna's former boss broke down in tears, talking to WBZ's Julie McDonald about the last time he saw her and their friendship.
She became my right arm, and we became.
It's terrible.
we became inseparable. And her family became my family. We're in absolute shock and disbelief as to the whole thing is a tragedy, Julie. The whole thing is a tragedy.
You know, you celebrate that New Year's Eve with like your close people, and you've said that you were family to each other.
She said, Jem, I know you won't go out on New Year's Eve. I know you just stay home by yourself, and you know, Brian and I would love to see you.
So this apparently is like,
just come over. Like if there's
I
anyone,
think it's the last friend that she saw.
we'd love to see it. We'd love to have over to you. Please come. And so I said, of course. Brian had cooked an elaborate meal for us, and we hugged and celebrated and toasted and just what you do over New Year's. And there was a lot of looking forward to the new year. Like there was no indication of anything other than celebrating the new year, like problems on hold, whatever life's problems were. And life always gives us matters and problems and things to deal with, right? That just always is. But the fact that they hadn't, they had been living in separate homes. She was commuting back and forth. She wasn't seeing the children as often as she would have liked. I mean, she loved everybody. She definitely loved her children dearly. And so it was festive. She was texting with friends, and, she was sitting next to me at the bar stool and at their kitchen. There was absolutely no indication that any modicum of a tragedy of disappearance or anything else could have happened that night.
When Brian was taken into custody, were you baffled, or you had feared this? Did you have any feelings before Sunday, or?
I did. Yeah, I did. I went to, I actually found out about her disappearance from Brian on Wednesday morning, mid-morning. I had texted them on Sunday morning, New Year's Day. I didn't hear back because the evening that I was there, Brian had said that he had misplaced his phone that evening. Brian texted on Monday afternoon around 2:30-ish.
This is important.
To say something to the effect of, yes, it's been great. It was great to have you. What a trio we are. And, here's to a new year, something to that effect. I didn't hear anything until Wednesday morning when I was walking on the beach, taking a morning walk, when Brian called and he sounded off. I said, what's wrong? Is there something wrong? And he said, yeah, but
This is a good witness. Very, very good witness. Could recount all that.
Anna's missing. And that's when I found out. And I said, I was in shock and I was in shock, but it didn't hit me right away. And I said, Anna's missing. She said she had a work. She said that she had a work emergency that morning and then had left off. I think he said that she left in an Uber, or that she was supposed to leave in an Uber. But in any case, I said, have you called other people? Have you called the police? Like this could be serious, and just make sure that the police know. Thursday morning, Brian and I were talking, and he said the Cohasset police may be calling me, the detective, but I didn't wait. I called them. Again, both Anna and Brian have been individually and together very impactful on my life. A part of me had this suspicion all along that there may have been foul play, and that
well, they enjoy it. They enjoy the publicity.
Somehow, the story wasn't adding up. My biggest fear had shifted towards the children. Believe it or not, I still have a modicum of hope that somehow.
Beauty and the Beast.
I think you got it.
While some friends were worried and emotional about Anna, others were raising questions about Brian's family history. WBZ uncovered court records with accusations that Brian stole money from his father. Our Chris Tanaka has an exclusive interview with a friend who says the relationship between Brian and his father was strained, and it was all because of money. To protect his identity, we aren't showing his face and have altered his voice.
Brian is not like other young people. He was always dressed in our money, in penny loafers. When he was like 13, I never saw him in dungarees. He just wanted the finest things in life.
Trouble in the Walshe family may have been hard to detect.
So by the way, if anybody's wondering what dungarees are, that's like what we say in Massachusetts, like jeans. A lot of the old school people here will call it dungarees. That's like my mother and my father call it dungarees. It's like a Massachusetts thing. Dungarees. Look at this guy. Guy's a demon.
But it was there. Court documents claim Brian stole $1 million from his father. The family friend we spoke to said it caused a massive falling out, and the two did not speak for more than a decade.
This was a kid who never gave his father an ounce of like teenage angst. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't do drugs. He was very close and he was very respectful to his father. He was charming. And when he did this, it like stabbed his dad in the heart.
Court documents also show Brian's father,
Dungaree.
Thomas Walshe, the late head of neurology at Brigham and Women's Hospital, cut Brian out of his will before his death in 2018.
There was indeed a will, and there were specified inheritors, and Brian was not one of them.
Brian is accused of destroying the will, appointing himself the personal representative of the estate, then liquidating more than $100,000 from his dad's bank accounts. The family friend also noted Brian's 2021 conviction on fraud, where he stole a friend's Andy Warhol paintings and sold them, as well as fake versions of them.
He was not trustworthy. He did things that were shameful and horrible to someone he really cared about. But
it's funny. I was noticing like cases like this, the people that get everything handed to them are always the ones that are like criminals and, you know, deviant in their actions. I mean, this guy's life, he had everything in front of him. I mean, essentially, you know, if you're living that, you know, that American dream, I guess, you know, he had money, had seemingly some really great friends, lived in a great area, had a beautiful wife, had 3 kids, and they just fuck it all up and do all this weird shit and have to be criminals and then end up fucking killing their wives, allegedly. Yeah, it's that entitlement. It's crazy. That I just don't get what pushes them over the edge. You know, what pushes them over the edge. All right, let's keep playing through.
I never saw him raise his voice.
There are more damning claims in those court documents. For example, at one point, Walshe even tried to sell off his father's home in Hull. Chris Tanaka.
Yeah, you're right, Firefly.
The I-Team is also learning more about that federal fraud case. Brian pleaded guilty to those charges in 2021. Since then, he has been on home confinement, awaiting sentencing. WBZ's Christina Rex talked to the art dealer he's accused of scamming.
These are the fake Andy Warhol paintings that Brian Walshe sold a California art dealer as real for $80,000 back in 2016. I spoke to Ron Rivlin by phone. He tells me Walshe is a calculated guy, saying, I've bought over 1,000 Warhols and this is the one and only acquisition that got by me. He was that good. What happened to me is telling of Walsh's masterful ability to coerce people.
This is not his first rodeo. He's already under federal charges and is, being monitored at home.
Walshe has been on house arrest for years after pleading guilty in 2021, but he still hasn't been sentenced because he was unable to produce the stolen paintings and allegedly couldn't come up with the nearly $500,000 he owed to 3 victims as a part of his plea deal. Now he's facing allegations he diverted money from his father's estate. Retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer says more than 6 years later, this open case still hangs over his head.
He is under a lot of stress and strain and pressure.
Everybody's
he's facing
favorite.
these charges. He's facing
Jennifer.
significant jail time, prison time, I should say. And that causes individuals, when they're under all this stress and strain and thinking maybe he's going to lose her and maybe nobody else is going to have her.
In a June 2022 letter to the judge, Brian's wife, Anna, wrote that he was a good man, saying Brian has been working consistently on breaking the past habits of his family, and we're all looking forward to the new chapter of his life. But experts say his prior crimes could tie into the allegation.
I don't think they did, but if she passed, there was an insurance policy for $2.7 million. So he's probably bled dry, probably has no money, wanted to axe her out and take her insurance settlement. That's probably what it is, allegedly.
That he misled investigators following his wife's disappearance.
People who commit significant fraud type charges really do have a character flaw. And that character flaw usually involves narcissism and believing that they can, trick people into believing their narrative.
Part of Brian Walshe's temporary arrangement for those fraud convictions was actually to have a curfew from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now, investigators say he actually broke that curfew in the days following his wife Anna's disappearance.
Yeah, you think?
In the Satellite Center, Christina Rex, WBZ News.
Well, this is a story with a lot of twists and turns, and we have been covering every detail in the case from the start. WBZ's Julie McDonald was the first reporter assigned to the story. Coming up, Julie and I sit down to talk about what was happening behind the scenes and where the investigation stands now.
All right, I'm not going to play that. I think I just want to give you a little bit of a timeline as to what was going on. I know I read a couple of articles, but this gives you a good timeline of what was going on. What I have now is the arraignment when he was arraigned on murder charges for the disappearance of his wife. We're going to play that, and then I'm going to wrap this up with a little Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace, everybody's favorite. All right,
live now from Fox, Brian Walshe in court. Let's listen in live.
1-8, you are charged on the first day of January 2023 with assault and to beat Anna Walshe with intent to murder that person. You're also charged with returning of a body hid without lawful authority, did willfully dig up or remove human remains. Not guilty, please stand.
You understand those charges, Mr. Walsh? I do.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We're not contesting bail or probable cause, so we would ask that he be released.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan, but I assess on myself as probable cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lynn Beeland for the Commonwealth. The defendant is now before the court charged with murder of his wife, Anna Walshe, as well as disinterring of a body.
There's nothing like Boston prosecutors and Boston police when they speak. That accent is awesome. I love the Boston accent. I'm from Boston. I love the Boston accent. But there's something about it. It just seems very serious when it's spoken and when they read charges and rule things in court and talk, court cases. It's really cool. I love it.
39 years old.
I'm happy to be from here. I am. I'm very happy to be from here.
Old and mother of 3 children, 2, 4, and 6. Anna worked in Washington, D.C., splitting her time weekdays between D.C. during the week and staying in her house in Cohasset, where she lived with the defendant and their 3 kids. On January 4th of 2023, Cohasset police received a call from her Washington, D.C. employer indicating that she was missing. She was due to report to work on January 4th, but did not appear. She had a flight on January 3rd from Logan to D.C.
And look at him just eyeballing the prosecutor. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, there's your head, your front page of the newspaper, just eyeballing the prosecutor.
Not forward. Cohasset police went to their house at Chief Justice Cushing Highway for a well-being check. It was only at this time, when they met with the defendant, that he first reported his wife missing. Defendant stated his wife left the house at approximately 6 a.m. on January 1st, New Year's Day. He stated she took an Uber or a Lyft to go to the airport, that she was returning to D.C. for work. Records were checked and there were no Uber or Lyfts to that house on January 1st. Defendant said he had not spoken to his wife since the early morning hours on New Year's Day. Cohasset police were granted permission to Bing on his phone to locate her or her phone. Anna's phone indicated that it was stationary in the area of the Cohasset house.
Now, this is going to be like, if we get the preliminary hearing, this is what you're going to get in the Idaho case. You're going to hear the charges being written out, how the investigation went. So, you know, this is kind of a preview of what you're going to hear when they press the, you know, start the preliminary hearing. It's going to be conversations like this.
On New Year's Eve until 3:14 a.m. on January 2nd. There were no outgoing calls made at that time, and at 3:14 a.m. on the 2nd, it was turned off. Defendant stated Anna should have been wearing a dress, a black jacket, hunter boots, watch, ring, as well as carrying a Prada purse. Defendant gave a timeline of 6 or 6:10 a.m. on the 1st when he last saw her. What I'd like to do now is just describe his actions in the days from January 1st. Defendant indicated on January 1st at 3 p.m. he did some errands, then he went to his mother's house in Swampscott, but got lost.
Look at this
because
guy.
He didn't have his phone. He said,
Eyeballing the prosecutor. Look at this. Eyeballing the prosecutor. Wow. I mean, daggers.
He was lost when he saw the pirate ship on Route 1. Defendant stayed 15 minutes, then went to Whole Foods and CVS. Surveillance was checked, and he did not enter either of those stores. On January 1st, defendant Googled using his son's iPad. Some of his searches are as follows. Keep in mind that the defendant
Look at him.
said he left at 6 a.m. At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell. At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a
Now,
body.
this is what he was looking up in his Google search. And keep that in mind, too. You know, when we go into Idaho, because we knew Google and search history was, there was a search warrant for that as well. So you're going to hear all this, you know, what they found in that digital forensics.
Body from decomposing. At 5:20 a.m., he searched how to embalm the body. At 5:47 a.m.,
See him shaking his head no.
To dispose of a dead body if you really need to. At 6:25 a.m. on the 1st, how long for someone to be missing?
Oh, man, look at this guy.
At 6:34 a.m. on the 1st, can you throw away body parts? At 9:29 a.m., what does formaldehyde do? At 9:34 a.m. on the 1st, how long does DNA last? At 9:59 a.m., can identification be made on partial remains? At 11:34 a.m., dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. At 11:44, how to clean blood from wooden floor. At 11:56 on the 1st, luminol to detect blood. At 1:08, what happens when you put body parts in ammonia? At 1:21 p.m., is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them? Those were on the January 1st. There was also information gained from the defendant's phone, which showed on January 2nd, he was at Home Goods in Norwell, where he purchased 3 rugs. There were also
Look at the daggers he has for the prosecutor. Wow. Just staring her down.
Google searches on January 2nd.
Wow.
At 12:45 p.m., hacksaw best tool to dismember. At 1:10 p.m., can you be charged with murder without a body?
Yes.
At 1:14 p.m., can you identify a body with broken teeth? On January 2nd, following
Yeah, I
those,
do know about
the
that one,
defendant,
Giovanna.
Was seen on surveillance at the
That
Home Depot in Rockland.
case is actually like 2 or 3 towns over from me. That happened on Christmas, I think. She shot him in her front yard or something like that. I do remember that. Mansfield, Massachusetts.
Checking the surveillance, the defendant is observed on a security camera fishing a car. Items included cleaning products, mops, brushes.
I mean, I don't know if it's a good murder case, but I know what you're saying.
A Tyvek suit with boot covers, buckets, goggles, baking.
Tyvek suit with boot covers. I wonder if we'll see that in any of the Idaho case.
Soda at Hatchet.
And
He had a
booties.
face mask and rubber gloves on at the time he was pushing the cart in Home Depot. At 5:32, he was seen at the Derby Street in Hingham, now removing the gloves and the mask. Data from his phone also tracked his whereabouts on January 3rd.
And she's a paraplegic now, I think, and she is in custody in rehab, and there's a lot of shit going on with that too. Yeah, I know what one you're talking about. That was actually down the Cape as well too. She jumped out a window, and she's now, I think she broke her neck, and she's now a paraplegic or something like that. So it's crazy. And they're saying that fucking it's a mental health thing. There's a lot of bullshit about that case, I think, from last time I read. She might get off on like mental health. It's unbelievable. Unfucking believable. And it doesn't surprise me in liberal Massachusetts, though.
Locations were traveled at 4:27
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
on January 3rd to an
I know
apartment
what you're saying.
complex in Abington. Surveillance shows the defendant's Volvo, as well as a male
Look at this
sitting in the
guy.
defendant's
Daggers.
exit a car near the dumpster. He walks to the dumpster carrying a garbage bag. He's leaning, and it appears to be heavy as he has to heft it into the dumpster. He walks to the dumpster with the garbage bag and leaves it. On 4:48, he hit another complex in Abington, and at 5:10 p.m., cell phone shows records
Post-pregnancy
at
depression.
another apartment in Brockton. Video shows a party consistent with his appearance and his Volvo. Again, he discarded items in the dumpster. On January 3rd, that same day, at 1:02 p.m., he did some more Google searches. What happens to hair on a dead body?
Yeah, you're right,
At
Tsunami.
1:13 p.m., what is the rate of decomposition of a body found in a plastic bag compared to on a surface in the woods? At 1:20 p.m., can baking soda mask or make a body smell good? On January 4th, the following day, the defendant went to Home Goods and TJ Maxx. He purchased towels as well as bath mats and men's clothing. At 4:15 that day on the 4th, he went to Lowe's where he purchased squeegees and a trash can. On January 4th,
Yeah, the
when
Duxbury
Cohasset
mother.
police went to the house
Look at this guy.
on the well
Daggers.
check, officers observed his Volvo with seats down and a plastic liner in the back of the car. The next day, a view of the Volvo showed his seats folded down, floor mats with some dirt, and the carpet appeared to show fresh vacuum streaks. When asked about the liner, the defendant
Wow,
said
look
he
at that
threw it in the
stare.
trash. Chemists later analyzed the car, and there was present blood in the car. On January
I wonder if like he's standing there and they're going through this and he's like, yep, I did that. Yep, I did that. Nope, they got that wrong. Yep, I did that. I'm allegedly just saying this, but I wonder if like when they're reading charges, if that's what's going through their head or if it's just all a glaze at this point. We'll never know. We're not inside that head, and I don't want to be inside that head.
January 5th, review of the data from defendant's phone showed his phone traveled at 8 a.m. first to his daycare and then to Swampscott, where his mother resides. The phone traveled to the complex where his mother lives at 9:30 a.m., went for about 5 minutes around the building to the southeast corner. In the southeast corner of that complex.
No blinking. Hardly any
later was a
blinking.
dumpster. The dumpster was later secured.
Hardly
and
any
searched.
blinking.
On January 8th, police and crime scene services searched the house in Cohasset. They found blood in the basement, a knife with the presence of blood. The knife was damaged. A second knife was also found in that basement. In addition, there was heavy-duty large top plastic liners purchased from that Home Depot trip. As part of the investigation, police checked for activity on honest credit cards, banks, flights, trains. There was no activity since she was last seen on January 1st. Police also tried to track down what happened to the bags that the defendant was seen throwing in the dumpster earlier. This was over in Abington. These bags and what was in them were already picked up and taken to a location for shredding and incinerated. By the time police located that, they were already destroyed. However, investigators did secure and search the dumpsters from defendant's mother's complex in Swampscott. It was searched at a transfer station in Peabody. Investigators recovered 10 trash bags. Inside the trash bags, many of these items contain stains consistent with blood. In fact, a lot. Among the items secured were towels, rags, slippers, tape, Tyvek suit, gloves,
Tyvek.
cleaning agents,
We've heard
carpets,
that before.
rugs, hunter boots, Prada purse, a COVID-19 vaccine card in the name of Anna Walshe, a hacksaw, a hatchet, and some cutting shears. The purse and boots were described as what Anna was last seen in. A portion of the rug was heavily stained with red-brown stains. The substance was consistent with also having baking soda on it. There was a portion of a necklace consistent with one that Anna had been seen wearing in photos. The state crime lab performed testing on certain selected items that were recovered from those trash bags. There was human blood found on them, and then they were sent for DNA testing. The findings are as follows. On the slippers in the interior, Anna and Brian Walshe were contributors to the DNA on those slippers, which had blood on them. On the exterior,
A lot of
Anna
good
and
stuff
Brian
here.
Walshe contributed.
A lot of good stuff here to think about. In Idaho case, you know, all the things that they're pointing out, I would take note of all this stuff. You know, the search engine history, where they're getting DNA from specific items. I mean, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of evidence that come out in that Idaho case. You wait and see.
The DNA found on those slippers. The Tyvek suit. On the interior cuffs, Anna and Brian Walshe contributed to the DNA that was left on them.
Yes.
On the exterior,
Chosen gets what I'm talking about.
on the exterior
Similarities.
left pant leg, Anna Walshe was contributed to the DNA. On the interior right sleeve, Anna Walshe was a contributor to the DNA that was found on the
Warhol painting.
There was
Warhol.
tissues
Andy
which found
Warhol.
that Anna Walshe contributed to the DNA. There was one other earlier Google search, which would be of note. On December 27th, defendant Googled, what's the best state to divorce for a man?
Everybody like my Vandals sweatshirt? I got that yesterday. The support. The Idaho 4. I don't really like to call them that, but the support.
Rather than divorce, it is
Justice.
believed that Brian Walshe dismembered Anna Walshe and discarded her body. The bags were later discarded in Swampscott and contained Anna's property and the items used to clean up.
Wow, this guy's
the
just staring
DNA
her
that was
down.
left behind. The Commonwealth is asking that the defendant be held without bail for the murder of his wife.
You heard it all.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defendant will be held without bail pending indictment. Do we have a date for probable cause, or just dealing with no reserved time for the grand jury?
Not at this time, but I will.
Believe it or not, Picasso produced a lot of art, a ton of art. Did a lot of hand drawings too. And believe it or not, a lot of his hand stuff that he drew by hand, obviously because he's a painter, but I'm just saying a lot of his sketches, they're actually not that expensive. It's just particular what he did a ton of art, and it's particular periods in time that are a lot more expensive than others. I know a little bit about art. Actually, they did a episode on what's the Pawn Stars. They talk Picasso a lot on that too. You get a lot of information on there about Picasso.
Will. Your Honor,
A lot of stuff, a lot of his stuff was
February
faked.
7th, already for the.
A lot of fake
misleading
Picassos
case.
out there. A lot of his sketching was fake.
Oh, February 9th, apologize. If we want to put it on for status on that day,
And that's by Zoom, Your Honor, correct?
What up?
Thank you.
What up?
Status date is fine, Your Honor.
February 9th for status.
Thank you.
thank you, Your Honor.
So, sir, you're held without bail until February 9th, 2023 for a status date.
Well, so thank you, Judge.
So that's it. That's the arraignment on the murder charges. And then we had a little bit of an update about a week ago. Look at the difference of the appearance now of this monster. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but I just want to give you a little bit of gist of what he looks like now. Completely different.
.001, Brian Walshe of Cohasset in the County of Norfolk on or about January 1st, 2023 at Cohasset in the County of Norfolk did assault and beat Anna
Prison living is not good in Norfolk County. I can tell you that.
Walshe with intent to murder her, and by such assault and beating did kill and murder said Anna Walshe in violation of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 265, Section 1, against the peace of said Commonwealth and contrary to the form of the statute in such case made and provided, a true bill assigned by the foreman of the grand jury and assistant district attorney for the Norfolk District. To this indictment for first-degree murder, sir, how do you wish to plead, guilty or not guilty?
Right.
Not guilty.
Thank you. Counsel, does your client waive right to a full reading to these other two indictments?
Yes.
Thank you. One count of misleading a police officer and one count of conveying a human body. How do you wish to plead, sir, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Thank you. You can have a seat. Question of bail.
Thank you.
Mr. Connor?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commonwealth. I'm not going to play that. I just want to get you a little bit of an update. This is what he looked like about a week ago. All right, let's take it over to Nancy Grace. She did a special on this case a couple of days ago. Let's play out some of this, and then we're going to end up the stream. Sit back, relax, and let's watch Nancy.
She didn't vanish. Anna Walshe was murdered. Now, in the last days, we learn a lot. Most significantly, in my mind, and I look at everything through the lens of probative value. What can this piece of evidence prove? How can I use this piece of evidence? What can I extrapolate from this piece of evidence?
With them
What
bushy
can I figure
eyebrows.
out from this one piece of evidence?
I am a Brian, but
Here
I
are
do
three
not
things that
bushy
have come to
eyebrows.
light regarding Brian Walshe, the husband of
I
Anna
thought she was going to say Brian Koberger.
Walshe. Number one, a bone fragment.
Bone fragment.
Tiny fragment of bone has been found on a hacksaw.
Bone fragments.
In a dumpster very near Brian Walsh's mother's place.
You like that fucking hair from like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Let all that sink in.
Bram Stoker's
Hacksaw
Dracula.
bone fragment near Brian Walsh's mother's face. Second, can you even imagine Brian Walshe just twisting and turning at the thought his wife may be having an affair? I mean, do you blame her? Number one. But that said, retreating to mommy's house to talk about his wife and her philandering and her cheating and how bad she is. Whoa, wait a minute. He's the one that has a fraud charge for trying to dupe people out of tens of thousands of dollars on Andy Warhol paintings. And we also learn
I don't know if I'm going to be able
that
to get through this.
Brian
I'll be honest with you.
Walshe whips his
Oh.
mother into a frenzy and orchestrates
something else,
mommy hiring a private investigator to find out if Anna Walshe is having
can't
an
believe this
affair.
hasn't been
What?
anything on this
He can't
case.
pick up the phone and do it himself. He's got to have mommy do his dirty work. I'm just going to throw in another fourth tidbit. Remember all of the horrendous, just sickening Google searches Brian Walshe allegedly made?
All right, I can't fucking sit through her. I can't do it. All right, hang on. I got something here. Let's pull this up. This is about the ransom note. I find this to be interesting. Hang on. And then we're probably going to end this one up soon. Let you guys get over. Yeah, I need to change my name. All right, let's play
has
this.
obtained recently unsealed court documents relating to the murder of Massachusetts mother Anna Walshe.
Anna was reported missing back in January. Her husband, Brian, has
since been charged with her murder, though her body has never been found.
12 News reporter Alexandra
Don't need a
Leslie has been
body.
pouring through the nearly 500 pages of documents all day and joins us now live in studio with what she's uncovered. Alex?
Well, newly unsealed court documents that I obtained show a Cohasset police detective investigating the disappearance of Anna Walshe received a ransom note by email days after she was reported missing. It asked for more than $127,000 for Anna's return. On January 7th, close to 5:20 a.m., a Cohasset police detective received an email from an account with a username Richard Walker, which said, quote, "We have the so-named Anna Walshe with us here. We've a deal worth $127,000. She messed up. We have her here with us, and if she doesn't pay the money, then she'll never be back. And we know that the police and the FBI are involved. Good luck finding us." The email did not include any deadline on when to respond. The hundreds of pages of court records offer a detailed timeline, largely of the early days of the investigation into Anna Walsh's disappearance. Since then, Anna's husband, Brian Walshe, was arraigned on charges of first-degree murder, misleading a police investigation, and improper conveyance of a human body. Walshe continues to be held without bail. His wife's body has still not been found. The last time the 39-year-old was seen alive was in the early morning hours of January 1st, when a friend attended a New Year's dinner at their Cohasset home. Court documents show that friend was interviewed by police and stated that, quote, "Everyone was enjoying themselves and in a good mood." On January 4th, the friend told investigators that Brian called him and sounded distraught and a little off, and said he hadn't heard from Anna in 3 days. Investigators also traveled to Washington, D.C. and spoke to attorneys representing a man who resides there and is, quote, "the most frequent contact with Anna on the cell phone records in possession of investigators." The man stated he was in a dating relationship with Anna and had been for several months. The man also claimed he and Anna were open about their relationship in D.C., where Anna worked and lived part-time, and had plans to celebrate the new year on January 4th when she returned from Massachusetts. Investigators say Anna's friend also claimed the marriage between Anna and Brian was, quote, "strained," and Anna was planning on having her 3 kids live with her in Washington, D.C.
Wow, he
There's
lost a
still
lot of weight in
more
prison.
information
Wow.
in these documents. I have an in-depth story posted right now on WPRI.com. Live in studio, Alexandra Leslie, 12 News.
All right. So yeah, I just wanted to shed some light on this case. And again, this is her Instagram here. And I'll show you just some of the comments. Why did Anna always take selfies of herself and post them here? She had so many men drooling over her. Why so many selfies of herself? She was a married woman. And the comments from some of these men, I'm sure a madman husband seen this and probably snapped. I was reading through some of the comments on her Instagram, and it's just crazy what people are saying about her. What were some of the other ones that were there was some really rude ones. Yeah, I mean, this guy said, "I don't get it. You have a wife, she's a total babe, beautiful. Some seems always happy, and it was ruined. I'm at a loss." Let's see. I seen some of the comments, pretty bad. We wear a wedding ring and engagement ring on our right hand. It's a Trump 24. People funny. I know I saw some really rude ones. I was scrubbing through today. People were... No wedding ring again in this picture, but one of the picture, she has a big rock on. No wedding ring on. Big affair seems on money. In Texas, you can still kill your spouse and catch them in bed with someone else. Temporary insanity, lost since 1800s. I mean, this is disgusting. I wouldn't wear a wedding ring either if someone like that. You got to go home to something like that. I'm sure you meant to be a personal one instead of you, because you, as myself, has nothing to do with this case or law. It does apply for women as well as... these are just like crazy people. Why would you even do this on someone that's dead? No wedding ring on. So if you want to go over, you want to check out on his Instagram account. I'll drop that link in there and you can go over and check it out. Yeah, it's crazy. People are discussing social media hiding behind the computer brings out the worst in people. Absolutely does. I mean, look, I get a lot of shit too. I get a lot of shit, believe me. But you just got to have the thick skin enough to deal with it. You know, that's what I say. And I was, I said something in my chat the other day about, a lot of just crazy channels that are dropping up, popping up now, these dumpster fire channels that, want to whip out Idaho content because they want their 15 seconds of fame. I'm not in it. I'm not in this. I'm not in the YouTube space for fame. I'm doing this to bring light to these cases, bring light to these victims, and hopefully catch the people that are doing, committing these crimes and bringing justice to these victims. Everybody's these garbage channels that are popping up. I'm not going to speak on specifics of what channels they are, but you guys are all adults. You can figure out what it is. But listen, garbage TV sells. A lot of that garbage TV sells. And I don't want garbage here on this channel. We want to keep things straight. We want to highlight cases that need to be highlighted. We want to bring to light cases that might not have that huge media or public interest, because these victims need justice, and the people that commit these crimes need to go to jail. Let's see. We're getting close to about an hour and a half. I'm going to probably end this one for the evening. So short stream this evening, different time. I will be back Thursday night. We're going to do a part 2 to the scumbag out in Oklahoma. I refuse to say the name, but there has been some updates in that case. So we'll go through that. I posted the link if you want to check that out. And then the big show on Saturday. That's going to be for 9 p.m. on Saturday. We're going to pump it up, push it up a half an hour. So that one's there for the Saturday stream. Epstein is going to be on, let me look my calendar. Epstein's going to be on the 14th, so next Tuesday. I think that one's going to be 8:30, so my regular spot on 8:30. Again, if you're just coming into the streams, I kind of talked about my work, my career, my work life is pretty strenuous right now. We had a lot of people left at the same time, so that's putting a lot of strain on my certain department. So I'm going to be, until we find help, probably 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So my streams may be pushed up later at night, and I intend on continuing to move this channel forward because this is my passion. I love doing this channel, and I want to make sure that I keep on creating content for it. So I will do my best. Hopefully I get relief at work soon, and I can resume back to my normal time. So the times over the next couple of weeks are going to be a little bit jumpy, but bear with me. I'm going to try to keep everybody notified as much as I can. So I will try to give you a heads up as close as I can. And if you make it, you make it. If not, replay crew. But we like to do the live shows because that's what this is. It's a live show. I like to perform, and I perform better doing a live show than shooting videos, because videos take me a long time to do. So everybody quit and become a YouTuber. Listen, if I could be a YouTuber, I would love to do this 7 days a week, but I would need a lot of money to become a professional YouTuber, and I'm not quite yet there. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a long while. I'm on the 3 to 5 year plan, hopefully. Let's see. We got a sub update. I just looked over. I'm at 4263. So I think we're going to hit the 5,000 before June 26th. That was my goal. When we get to 5,000, we'll do a celebration show and hang out. And, I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. BBN, thank you so much for being a new member of the channel. I love that. She says, update. Thanks for the update on the case. I have my bell now. Awesome. Yep. So we're going to end this one. Find the streams after this stream that you guys all go and hang out. There's plenty of content out there. Idaho show on Saturday, part 2 to the scumbag out in Oklahoma. There's been a lot of new updates in that case, and we'll rip through that on Thursday. So be well. I'm going to get off here and actually start working on my Saturday show. I got a presentation to put together. So over the next couple of days, we'll get that together. And Laura will be back on the channel on Saturday to talk some Idaho with us. So I thank you all for jumping in on the show. I get it. It's not an Idaho show, but we do other content here. You got to come over here, check out the other content, because it's just as good as the Idaho stuff. The Oklahoma stream the other night with Scumbag, that was a great show. A lot of raw emotion in that show. A lot of raw emotion. So that's it. Love all you. See you all back on Thursday. Yeah, there's a lot of junk out there right now on Idaho, spinning on the channels, and it's their platforms. They can do whatever they want, but I'm not going to indulge in it. Yeah, me too. I hope so too. Okay, ladies and germs, I will see you soon. Thanks for checking in. If you need to get hold of me, theopinionatedidiot@gmail.com. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.